Imagine the following. You are working on a large software project, and this project relies on a popular open source framework and everything seems fine. And pretty much from one day to the next, you can no longer use this open source library, it becomes unusable. This is what happened to many .NET developers in the summer of 2023. At that time, a new version of the famous Mach framework was released, and a certain change in this new version led to a huge controversy. I'll tell you the story in this video.
Okay, let's go.
But first things first, what is Mach? As the name suggests, it's a mocking library. To create unit tests, you want to create Mach implementations for your services and interfaces. This can result in a lot of Mach implementations and bloat your codebase. With the Mach library, creating Machs is much easier. It allows you to dynamically create mocks of your interfaces, allowing you to mock only the methods you need for your specific test. And because it is so powerful, yet so easy to use, it has become one of, if not the most widely used mocking library for .NET. And I think it's safe to say that the Mach library is an important part of many .NET projects out there, both open source and commercial. But then what happened? What sparked this controversy? In August 2023, the author of Mach made a significant change to the library without notifying the community. Starting with version 4.20.0, he added another project he maintains, SponsorLink. To understand why this was considered problematic by so many people, we need to understand what SponsorLink actually does. SponsorLink is described as a way to integrate GitHub sponsors into libraries. It aims to connect users' GitHub sponsors' subscriptions to the library they use. It aims to help raise awareness of the funding needs of open source projects and remind users of sponsorship opportunities. And SponsorLink can also be used to unlock sponsor-only features, paid features, so to speak. While the general idea may not be that bad, the way SponsorLink works has been really problematic. It integrates into the building process of the projects that use Mach by using .NET analyzers. This analyzer tries to retrieve the Git user's email address. This email address is encrypted and then sent to an HTTP backend that checks the sponsorship status for that user. If the user is not a sponsor, they receive a build warning and are encouraged to sponsor the project. So there are a few things that are problematic with SponsorLink. First of all, the project was closed source at the time and the libraries were obfuscated, so it is difficult to reverse engineer the libraries to understand what they do. Also, the user's email address is used without asking for permission and without the ability to opt out, which is in no way GDPR compliant, so using Mach within the EU would be problematic. The author of Mach integrated SponsorLink without any announcement and without mentioning it in the changelog or in the release notes. The bottom line is that several principles of open source development have been broken. Number 1. Transparency. The integration of SponsorLink into Mach was not announced beforehand, nor was the integration mentioned afterwards. Number 2. Community involvement. Usually the community is involved in the decision-making process, but in this case there was no public discussion and no way for users to give feedback. There was also no way to disable SponsorLink. And number 3, user consent. SponsorLink was collecting email addresses and sending them to a cloud service without asking the user for permission. So how did the community respond? Well, as you can imagine, people were not amused. Check out the GitHub issue that got the ball rolling. People were saying that this was a nightmare, that they could not use Mach in the projects because it did not allow them to build secure software. Some said that Mach should be blacklisted by Microsoft. People were furious because they now had to do tons of work to get rid of Mach in their projects, because that was the ultimate consequence for many people. They had to remove Mach because of privacy concerns. And that's pretty much what happened. People either removed Mach from the projects or they froze the version of Mach they were using to a version prior to 4.20.0, because removing it was just too much work. So people abandoned Mach in favor of alternatives like nsubstitute or fake it easy. So these libraries definitely got a boost from the whole Mach controversy. How did the author respond to the outcry? Well, he tried to explain and said that he did not mean any harm and that he still thinks SponsorLink is a good thing. Nevertheless, SponsorLink was removed from Mach pretty soon, but the damage had already been done. Today, the author is still working on SponsorLink, which is now open source, and I'm pretty sure that they have learned from this controversy and will find a good solution that everyone can live with. And the Mach project itself, are people still using it? Well, see yourself. The latest mock versions have huge download numbers on NuGet, so not too bad I guess, but it will probably never be what it used to be. Thanks out.